loss, which expects a second operand. In this case, it is 1. MaxScript reads further, finds that there is no more functions in this line, so it adds 20 to 1, and this results in 21. So the accumulated result of the operators between the brackets is 21. Now our original script is simplified to 21 times 2, a simple one operator line that results in 42. We can group any kind of script lines, not just mathematical operators, so this would work as well. Here Max finds the opening bracket just as before, finds the end bracket and takes what was in between them for separate evaluation. So Max reads the first word, being box, and then reads on to figure out whether it has to do anything with this value, and finds an opening and a closing bracket. These two words together make up the constructor function for a box, so Max creates a box object. Since there's nothing more in the original brackets, the result of the original box function group will be just a box object. This might sound trivial, but a step-by-step explanation is needed so we can understand more complicated lines later. Let's say, for example, that we want to add the modifier to a box without having to use variables. We can create both the box and the modifier on the fly in the add modifier function as follows. Let's say add modifier box band. Let's run it. It fails. There is a logical reason for that, and this is where we'll have to analyze how the evaluation actually works. When MaxScript is evaluating this line, it would read the add modifier word first. It knows that this is a function and it will need two parameters to work correctly, so it reads the next word, which is box. Since the function called brackets are of low priority, and since box itself is a value, the type name of the box geometry object, MaxScript will think that it has found the first parameter. So it reads on for the second one and finds the next token, which is the brackets. So far we supposedly read both the function name and two needed parameters for it, add modifier, box, and the brackets. MaxScript thinks that those brackets are a command group that will need to be evaluated first. The result of the empty command group is undefined, as there is no commands in it. So in Max's understanding, this command line up to this point looks as follows: add modifier, box, undefined. Now, since we have all parameters for the modifier, MaxScript runs the line to this point by passing the two parameter values, box and undefined, to the add modifier function, which will of course error out, as the first parameter is not a node but a type name. So it says no add modifier function for box. So MaxScript will fail before it even gets to the band part. To get the box command to actually create a box, we have to group the box and the brackets together. That way we assure that these two words are evaluated together separately from the rest of the line and before anything is passed to the add modifier function. So the same is true for the band function. And then we end up with add modifier, box function in brackets, and the band function in brackets. So Max reads add modifier and expects two parameters for it. It reads further and finds an opening bracket. So it interrupts the evaluation of the add modifier function to evaluate what's between those brackets, being a simple box function. So it creates a box. So now we have, going back to the original add modifier function, add modifier, a box entity that was just created, and band. It now has the first parameter. So it reads on for the second and finds a bracket there. It interrupts again the main add modifier evaluation to evaluate what's between those brackets, then substitutes its result back into the script. So now we have add modifier, a box entity, and then a band modifier entity, two parameters of the expected value types, so it should work like a charm. So let's see. I've added the brackets here. Now let's run the line. Seems like it did work. It created a box and it did add the band modifier. So far, this doesn't really do much, since both the box and the band are created with their default parameter values, so the object isn't bent at all, being the angle basic value being 0. But we can do whatever we want in the function calls inside the brackets. So let's clean the scene and try a different command. Say here, let's not use the default values, let's use a height value, say 100, a length value of a 10, width being 10 again, and a couple more segments for the height, 15. Then let's bend the band modifier a bit, band angle being 90. Let's try to run it. There you go. So Max reads add modifier, noting that this function will need two parameters, just as before. It reads on and finds this bracket, finds the end bracket for it, and then evaluates what's in between them, this command, which creates a box with these preset values. So then it goes on to read the second parameter, finds a bracket there as well, so evaluates what's in between them, a band that creates a band modifier with a 90 degrees basic band angle. So it's going to create these two values and then feed them into the add modifier function, creating what we see here, a band box with slightly modified default values. Well, to sum up what we learned about the way MaxScript evaluates scripts, we can say it reads every line word by word, evaluating atomic functions on the way and accumulating their results. Functions have their built-in priorities, which allows for basic mathematical expressions to work as expected based on our school studies. We can override these built-in priorities using command grouping with brackets. The result of such command groups will be substituted into the original commands as MaxScript is proceeding with the given line's evaluation. Now I think we have covered the most important basic concepts that we need to know before being able to start making bigger, more complex scripts in 3ds Max.